So I think we've all been there. If you're a local born and raised in Hawaii and you happen to live away on the mainland or somewhere else, you have that feeling of missing home. And when I was living on the mainland, I missed Hawaii every now and then. But for the 10 years or so that I was away, I've only felt homesick once. And so for anyone kind of feeling homesick for Hawaii, I wanted to just share 3 things that I remember doing back when I was on the mainland that really helped me to stave off feeling homesick. And by the way, I think there's a real difference between missing Hawaii and being homesick for Hawaii. I think when you miss Hawaii, you have these small moments or small flashes of things that remind you of home, but it brings a smile to your face. It makes you feel good inside. Whereas when you feel homesick for Hawaii, you just miss it deeply. You have this feeling that there's nothing else that can make you feel better except going back home. Like you just want to go airport, hop on the airplane, and just come back. Now, when I was away on the mainland, I never really felt homesick. I mean, I missed Hawaii every now and then, but I cook rice, and there would be times where I go L&L or Jamba Juice, and that would remind me of home a little. However, I do want to share the first and only time I've ever been homesick for Hawaii. It was that first day when I was in Colorado. I mean, we just flew from the airport here, and I was gonna move into my dorm as a freshman. And my mom happened to be there, so she really helped me out. And on that first day, she took me out to lunch. And I remember we sat in this Subway in Greeley, Colorado, and I had my sandwich in my hand, and I just couldn't eat it because I felt so scared. And it was such an odd feeling of being that afraid of being in Colorado because all summer, right? I just graduated from high school. I went to all the grad parties. I talked to all my aunties and uncles and told them, yeah, I'm gonna go Colorado. And they're like, oh man, it's gonna be so cold. And I was just talking up how wonderful it would be. And here I was in a Subway, and I was just absolutely scared. And I didn't know what to do. And I felt this deep longing to be back in Hawaii. And so as I was sitting there, I asked my mom, can you take me home? I don't think I can do this. I really want to go home. I miss Hawaii. And it was only my first day. And my mom looked at me and said no. And it wasn't so much that she said no. It was more like the tone in which she said no. Because my mom's pretty nice and she had never talked to me that way. But that no that she said, it was like an absolute no, you're doing this. I think I might have even cried at the time to get some sympathy, but no, my mom wasn't having it. She said no, and that was it. After lunch, she dropped me back off at the dorm, and that was it. I had to figure things out. But ever since that one time that I felt that way in my freshman year, that first day in Colorado, I've never felt homesick again. But I still remember that feeling because over the years while I was in Colorado, I remember there were a lot of Hawaii students who were homesick, and they talked about it, and many of them dropped out. Many of them just couldn't handle being in Colorado, being so far away, and so they just transferred or dropped out of school. And looking back, I'm really glad that wasn't me. I'm glad that I stuck it out, and I'm really glad that my mom said no. And by the way, I should mention that there is no shame in feeling that type of homesickness. I mean, it takes a lot of courage. If you grew up in Hawaii away from all this stuff, it takes a lot of courage to get up, move all the way to some new culture, to some new place, to try and reestablish yourself. And so I just want to share 3 things that really helped me out during that time because I still missed Hawaii a lot. It's just, I never felt that homesickness again. Okay, the first thing that I did was I stayed busy. During my college years, I loaded up my schedule with as many classes as I could take because I determined that I wanted to get a double degree. Not a double major, but double degree. So what that meant was 150 credits in 4 years because I never stretch them out and have to pay more student loans. So my goal was college done in 4 years. And let me tell you, trying to squeeze 150 credits in 4 years, it was not easy. So not only did school keep me very busy, but I also had a lot of hobbies. The first of which probably took most of my time in college was volleyball. I played so much volleyball in college. My freshman year especially, I remember some of us Hawaii guys who played volleyball here, we decided that, we're just gonna start playing at the gym. And so we would play 3 times a week And this is like 2 or 3 hours to just pick up volleyball, and then other people would join in, and we just have like these pickup games. Man, those are really great times. And another hobby I picked up in college was playing poker. And so my nights and weekends would just be filled up with card games. Calling up my friend, hey, so what, we gonna play cards tonight? And then you go to this house and then you just start playing. And so maybe while a lot of Hawaii guys were going out, you know, drink or go party, I was just trying to find card games to play, and I would spend all night trying to win. And that filled up a lot of my time. And another important hobby that I picked up was reading. I hated reading in high school. I remember AP English class. Oh, I hated reading so much. But who would have thought if you actually pick books that you enjoy, you actually like reading. And so I found out that I really enjoy reading travel writing, especially very funny travel writing. And so those are the types of books that I picked up and I still read to this day. It's probably my favorite hobby. Now, I'm not saying that you got to go out and play volleyball or play poker or even read books, although reading books is pretty beneficial. But I do think it's important to find things to keep you busy and to keep you learning, and to also just help you meet new people and make friends, especially if you're going to be away on the mainland. And yes, it's really easy to gravitate towards just other Hawaii people, whether that's in college or just out of college, and you just happen to move to a place and there happens to be a Hawaii community. It's really easy to just hang out with only Hawaii people because it makes you feel like home, right? But I guess I would challenge people. It's okay to have Hawaii friends, but to also try to meet other people who are there, like locals in that particular area. And in Hawaii, it's kind of like when military families only hang out with other military families. Like, I know they have a lot in common, and I'm sure that they just live a lot closer, so it makes more sense to do things together. But sometimes I'm thinking to myself, you don't know some local people. Morning. Hi. And so I think the same thing applies to us locals when we go away to places on the mainland. I think it's good to make friends that aren't local from Hawaii, and to actually get to know some of the people who are in the area that you're living. Okay, so on top of staying busy, the second thing that I recommend doing is listening to Hawaiian music. And by Hawaiian music, I'm talking about contemporary Hawaiian music. And if you don't know where to start, here's my list of artists to look up. 10 Feet, 3 Plus, Ekolu, Ka'au Crater Boys, Kapena, Opihi Pickers, Naleo, Keali'i Raichel, The Mana'o Company, Nuff Said, John Cruz, and Justin Young. Now, obviously that is not all of the artists. That is just a comprehensive list of a lot of the artists that I remember listening to during those college years. Now, maybe some of you who heard that list might have been thinking, oh, bruh, what? You listen to Hawaiian music all the time? And no, I had never listened to Hawaiian music. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so we had pop and we had hip hop. Hawaiian music wasn't even on my radar. But when I went away to the mainland, something inside of me just craved listening to Hawaiian music. And so I'd create all these Hawaiian music playlists. And whenever I go to some of the Hawaii parties, they would have some of these songs, and I would be like, oh, what song is that? And then someone would tell me, I'd be like, okay, I gotta write that down because I gotta add it to my list. Now, I do wanna just highlight a couple of songs that got me through those years. The first one, Windward Skies by 10 Feet. Oh, that song, absolutely incredible. I mean, as someone who grew up in Kaneohe on the windward side of Oahu, every single time I heard that song, oh man, it made me just visualize the Ko'olau Mountains and how green they are. I mean, way greener on the other side of the mountain. And sure, I went grad from McKinley, but you know, I always view myself as one Kaneohe boy. 96744. And my absolute favorite song of all time is Leaving on a Jet Plane by Justin Young. I know it's technically not a Hawaiian song, but his cover of that song, oh man, every single time with the opening from the airport speaker, oh man. I remember as we're taking off and leaving Honolulu Airport, I'd have that song on repeat. That was my anthem as we're drifting away, and you can go look down and you can see all the lights and you can see Diamond Head and everything, and yeah, that was the song. And so those who are starting to miss Hawaii, I would recommend just playing some Hawaiian music. And it's so much easier these days with YouTube Music and Spotify. You know, back when I was in school, we had burned CDs and MP3s. Okay, and the third thing that really helped me get through feeling homesick was talking to friends on the phone. During all my years on the mainland, I had a couple of friends that I would check in with almost on a weekly basis. And just hearing their voices and just talking story, it really helped me. And I know that these days we have DMs and text messages and other ways of just seeing how people are doing with pictures or short videos, but it's not the same. Because videos about Hawaii that show you Hawaii, they're nice to see, but it's just not gonna be able to replace that feeling of connection. Because during those conversations that I had with those friends, I felt really connected to Hawaii. Not through some parasocial relationship where a content creator shares their interpretation of what's going on in Hawaii, but actually somebody that I knew talking about just what's going on and also allowing me to share what is going on where I'm at. And I think that's what's sort of missing these days. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, seeing Hawaii through a content creator YouTube video, and thank you, by the way, if you're watching this video. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's like food content, right? It makes you feel good, like you see local people eating food and you're like, oh wow, you get those feelings, but those aren't long lasting. I would trade a week's worth of YouTube videos about food, about travel, about whatever it is that I talk about. I would trade a week's worth of those videos for a 30-minute conversation with someone that I knew back home. That would mean a lot more to me, because talking on the phone these days takes time. And when so many things are vying for our attention, vying for our time, when you give someone that time and you just spend time with them over the phone and talk, that's extremely valuable. And so just some friendly advice, maybe less texting and more phone calls. And now as more and more locals start to move out of Hawaii, I know that there will be an increase in people who miss being back here. And I'm glad that my videos can help some people who do feel that homesickness, when maybe they just want to hear someone from Hawaii just talk and they don't have that type of connection in wherever they are. And I'm sure seeing other creators eat local foods or show off local places, I'm sure that absolutely helps. But all of those, including myself, I see them as just surface level solutions. I mean, yeah, they're good fun, and for a lot of people that's just the best that they got, but I really don't think that it's gonna satisfy that feeling of homesickness. Maybe if you miss home a little bit, oh yeah, nice to see a Hawaiian airplane up there in the sky, or maybe a bus or something, maybe that would help a little bit. But if you're really feeling that homesickness, you're feeling homesick and you just, gosh, I want to go back, then these videos aren't really going to help you. Like I said, I think staying busy and developing some sort of routine, making friends in that community that you currently are planted, that's a big first step. Listening to Hawaiian music every now and then, just put it on in the background, and yeah, it's going to remind you of home. And maybe if you're like me, you never listen to Hawaiian music at all when you're here, but when you're away, the words mean a little bit more, because the words and the music almost tap into this imagination and these memories that we have of being here in Hawaii. But I think the most important thing is to call, to talk to someone, to talk to family and friends who are still here, to just carve out some time. And maybe it's only gonna be 15, 20 minutes, maybe once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. But I think just hearing someone's voice, taking that time out just to talk story, it's really gonna help. And I don't think doing these things are gonna completely eliminate all of those feelings. Like, you're gonna still miss Hawaii, because especially if you were born and raised here, this is like your home, and it will always be your home. But what I think it does allow is those feelings of longing to start fading away. And when you think about Hawaii, or when you miss Hawaii, you have that joy, you have that smile, that inner smile of really great memories and times. And I think that turn is very important. Oh no, it's gonna rain. So thanks for watching, and aloha.